What's up? Sunny here. Another beautiful morning, kind of cloudy today. Definitely getting a little colder now. Wearing my gloves too. Today we want to talk about how to access higher consciousness in this very moment. What even is higher consciousness? And how do you attain it? Actually, it's not something that you attain. It's something that is already here. It is something that you already are. But right now, what's covering it up is all the layers of mind. And see, in order to control your mind, I get people asking me all the time, Sunny, how do I control my mind? I can't control my mind. And I always say that in order to control the mind, you need to leave it alone. You need to completely disengage from it. So when you say your mind, right? When you say, Sunny, I want to control my mind. In that statement, you are also saying that you, when you say I, you're saying I am not my mind. Because you can observe your mind and you can control it or not control it, you're saying that you are here and your mind is somewhere, but it is not you. You are creating a separation between I, mine, and my mind. So that right there is very important because that's already farther than most people go on this spiritual journey. Not even gonna lie. The reason that's important because that right there is the key to higher consciousness, is to detach your I from the mind. Because if the mind is not you, and you're saying, oh, my mind, I'm trying to control my mind. If you're saying that the mind is not you, then what is you? What do you refer to when you say I? I create my own reality. What is the I that you're referring to? So when we now talk about higher and lower consciousness, you can say that an average unconscious individual that is just going about their life unconsciously, their I is identified with the bundle of thoughts that they are, which is the mind. There's no separate mind other than thoughts. Mind and thoughts are the same thing. Mind, thoughts, ego all mean the same thing. So the average individual, and even the average individual on the spiritual path, is still identified completely with their thoughts. The person on the spiritual path acts all spiritual and everything, but still on a day-to-day level, they're like, oh, I can control my mind. They believe that they're not their thoughts. However, they go throughout their day completely being controlled by their thoughts, believing in the reality of their thoughts. Because the only way that thoughts would bother you, negative or positive, is if you started to identify with them. If you started to believe that the voice in your mind is you. So now that right there is lower consciousness. When your I is completely identified with the thoughts and you never go past that surface level understanding of yourself. So when you believe your I to be your thoughts, you are going to be entirely identified with your body and mind. You're going to think that this person is the deepest it goes for me. And even if you think you believe something different, but you act that way, you're still identified with with your thoughts, then you will not go past this surface level understanding of I. Now, when we start to explore deeper, the person who is truly spiritual, who actually is truly trying to understand who he or she is at a deeper level, that's when we go deeper into the sense of I. What is the I that observes mind? What is the I that has the ability to control the mind or not? That is the I that creates reality. When I say I create my own reality, that is the deeper I that I'm referring to, not the bundle of thoughts that we are all identified with, that we think is us in our mind. That right there is higher consciousness. When your sense of I gets deeper than this body-mind complex that you believe yourself to be. So if the I is not your mind, if the I is not your thoughts, then what is the real I? That right there is what you have to explore to access higher consciousness. That right there is your key to access higher consciousness. And only when you disengage the mind, when you leave the mind alone, can you ever come to a sense of that true self, that true I. Until then, you will believe yourself to be the thoughts. Even if you are creating a positive reality, you still have no real control because you're just a bundle of thoughts. If you're creating a positive reality, you're just a bundle of positive thoughts. And if you're satisfied with that, then you can stop there. But there's still some part of you within that wants to go deeper, that wants to understand who you truly are at a deeper level. That's what drives you. That's what drives your entire evolution. So why stop there? Why just create a positive reality, believing you are your thoughts, which you are not? Why not go deeper and truly understand who you are at a core level and what life is? And how this world is just a projection of your true self, within your true self. That right there is higher consciousness. And so now, how to access this greater sense of I? The only way to do that is to disengage the mind, is to constantly come to a place where, no, you're not trying to stop thoughts, but rather you are experiencing the being, the beingness in this very moment, the beingness that never leaves. In this beingness right here and now, you can think, you can do, you can be something, and all those things come and go, all those things change within the beingness, but the sense of being never changes. The sense of being never leaves. It is always constant. It has always been constant ever since you were like a 5-year-old baby. You were experiencing the world, a different version of your body, a different version like of people in your life, of challenges or obstacles or desires, through that same sense of being, that same sense of I. Has your sense of I ever changed? The body which you identify with, the thoughts that you have today, are so different than the thoughts that you used to have and the body you used to have. And everything around in your life is completely different. Everything has come and gone. But has the sense of I through which you experience everything that comes and goes ever changed? Has that ever been different for even a single moment? Even in the best of times, the greatest success you've ever had and the worst failures you have ever had, did your sense of I ever leave you? Did your sense of I ever change? Did it ever pause? Explore that. And it's not something you think about. When I say explore that deeper sense of I, if you start to think about it, now you're getting lost in mental concepts again and identifying with your thoughts. In order to actually experience this deeper sense of I, you have to disengage from thoughts and learn how to just be without thoughts. Even if it is for just a few seconds at a time at first. And naturally over time, you start to gain a greater sense of me. And so if I was to give you a little technique, and this is something that I've been practicing for the past 2 months, it's called self-inquiry by Sri Ramana Maharishi, who taught this as the quickest, most direct path to self-realization, to realizing the real I, more and more and more. Every moment, right? Whenever you remember to do this, and I recommend it to at least do it 10 times a day if you truly want to access higher consciousness. By the way, accessing higher consciousness will never be sometime in the future. It's either here right now or it's not. Again, it's not something you attain, it's something that you realize right here in this moment. So multiple times a day, every single time that you catch yourself kind of just being in thoughts and identifying with them again and again, just pause and disengage from everything. You can close your eyes if you want, disengage from the outside world, or you can keep them open. But stop doing everything, and then stop thinking everything. Just let go of all thoughts. Ask yourself, who am I? And try to gain that sense, that feeling that you get, that you associate with the word I. So when I say I, there's a certain sensation. It's not necessarily a sensation that you register in your body, but it's a certain quality. There's a certain feeling to this experience when I say I. It's very personal, right? At this time. So we want to focus this. We want to focus on this and just stay focused on the I. So stay with the I feeling as long as you can. And what you'll notice is that the more you are focused on the I, even if it's just for a few seconds, in those few seconds, there are no thoughts. So when you're focused on the I, thoughts automatically fade away. So when I say disengage from your mind and let go of thinking, I'm not trying to... Mad nosy. By the way, it's like 6 in the morning. What are they doing? But when I say disengage from your mind, I'm not trying to tell you to stop your thoughts. I'm simply telling you to focus on the I, through which thoughts will naturally fade away. They will naturally dissolve. And let's say you go 5 seconds without those thoughts, and those thoughts come back again now. Now ask yourself, to whom do these thoughts arise? And then the answer is going to be to I, to me. What is that me? Who am I? And then focus on the I again. And you do this again and again and again. And every single time you do this, you will wake up to a greater sense of I. And your sense of I will begin to deepen from the surface level of thoughts, body-mind identification, to a deeper sense of you, which we can call consciousness or awareness, or a sense of being. And when you truly say I, what I really is consciousness. It is not mind. However, that's what we refer to it as on a daily basis. If you listen to everyone's conversation, they're going to be talking about I did this yesterday. I am this. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. They're referring to this body-mind because that's what they're identified with. We want to take that deeper. We want to take our understanding of I deeper. And that right there is higher consciousness. And that is the I that creates reality. So the more you access that deeper sense of I, the more control you actually gain over the physical. Because the I is not physical. Everything else is physical. The I is not physical. And this is what I always mean when I'm promoting my accelerated reality program. When I say create the life you truly want to live through a higher consciousness mindset. This is the process that I take people through, where it's like, how can we deepen your sense of I? Because when you say I create my own reality, but you're identified with your thoughts, your mind, you're not actually creating your own reality. In that mind-body identification, there is only the illusion of control. There's no actual real control. And so how are you able to accelerate your reality? You can only do so by gaining a deeper sense of I that actually creates reality, the consciousness that is responsible for this. And so that is one aspect of my program, really and that's a foundation that I help people build right away, where it's like, there is no creating reality if you don't have this foundation. Then you're always on shaky grounds because you thought you had control, and maybe you even did create some successes by forcing positive thoughts or whatnot. But even then, you are completely unconscious. You are still identified with the physical, with the mind. So that's what it means to access higher consciousness and create your life through that higher consciousness, which is way more effortless, way easier. If you want to apply to that program, by the way, the link is down below. But practice this multiple times a day. Who am I? And when thoughts arise, to whom do these thoughts arise? And then just focus on the I and stay with the I sense as long as you can. And soon it starts to shift from person to that deeper you, that real you. From body, mind, person to consciousness. And it's not just a one-time thing, it's something that deepens. And so I'm only speaking to you from a level of where my understanding has deepened to, but there's infinite more levels to go. So I'm not saying I have it, but I'm saying that from the place that I am, this is what I'm able to share for my experience. So if you have any questions about this, please let me know in the comment section below, okay? I love making videos like this. This is the real stuff. This is the real change. This is where we gain real, actual joy and freedom, okay? So practice this. Subscribe to this channel. If you want more videos like this, also let me know, okay? And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.